What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today is a very good one. So Hadi Choopan has officially arrived in the United States. He's in Texas right now. And this is an important story because I've seen a lot of rumors here in the last couple days that potentially Hadi might have an issue getting his visa or getting to the States. And I know that his name was listed on that pending list. And both other guys that were listed as pending on the Arnold Classic competitor list, Andrew Jacked and Rubiel Mosquera and Neckzilla, they're both out. So there's a lot of speculation that maybe Hadi wouldn't be able to make it. And I know there's kind of growing tensions now with the U.S. and Iran. But fortunately, we got confirmation from Hani Rambod. Hadi Choopan is here in the States, and there's photos and videos of him now in Texas. So he will be able to compete. It looks like he was able to get his visa, and he was able to arrive in the States with no issues here. So kind of final confirmation that we will, for the first time ever, get to see Hadi Choopan compete in the Arnold Classic. So I'm excited for it, man. This is what we all wanted to see. Hadi Choopan at his first ever Arnold Classic, Hadi versus Samson, this big battle, and now we are 100% locked in that that's exactly what we're going to get. So this is a story that made me happy. It kind of put an end to the rumors that Hadi was having issues getting in. And maybe he was. Maybe it was a little bit harder than usual, but it looks like they were able to pull it off. So shout out to Hani Rambod and Hadi Choopan both for seemingly being able to make this happen. If you guys remember, there were a couple years that Hadi had trouble even getting to the States to compete in the Olympia. So I guess it was on the table as a possibility, as a real possibility, that there might be an issue getting him here to the Arnold. So this is really good news. Now, next up in the news, let's talk about some big strongman news that came out. So initially, there was this big MMA fight that was supposed to be this groundbreaking, $100 million plus event called the Finishers Championship in Qatar. And Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, Mitchell Hooper, and Martin Ford were all supposed to go compete there and fight on February 17th of this year, so less than a month after the Arnold Classic. So Mitchell Hooper, who is competing in the Arnold Classic, put up a post on his Instagram, which is kind of what I suspected was going to happen here, because while we saw a lot of clips of Brian Shaw training for this, Brian training MMA, and really working towards this goal, I think myself and a lot of you guys also noticed nobody else was really posting training clips. I think Eddie Hall and Mitchell posted like one clip very early on when this was announced. But that was really all that we saw from them, and I don't think we even saw anything from Martin Ford about this fight. Because Eddie was supposed to fight Mitchell, and I guess Brian was supposed to fight Martin, and I think for most of this time, nobody even knew who Brian was fighting, because I don't think Martin ever fully committed to it. But Mitchell put up a story saying it's not happening, and he explains why. I can't say I'm surprised to see this, but he says, for those who haven't realized, the Finishers Championship is off. They came to us with an offer of $30 million each. I was told by Jay Suderson, the director, that he controlled the investments for the Saudis, and that's where it was getting funded. Then we were told it isn't the Saudis, it's going to be funded by private companies. Around 6 weeks ago, we were told that the Qatar government is in. Sent some ridiculous pictures of them celebrating with cake. It looked like they had a few separate parties. So this piece of it is important, and some of you guys might not realize why, is because a big part of this, these big crazy events in places like Qatar, fall under that category of sports washing. And I said this when I first announced that this fight was announced. I said this feels a lot like sports washing. And sports washing, for those of you guys that don't know, is for a country that has kind of a controversial history. It's used to describe the practice of nations, individuals, groups, corporations, etc., or governments using sporting events or sports to improve their reputations tarnished by wrongdoing. So the goal with this is to get more people talking about this awesome, crazy sporting event happening in this country than the things the government or that country has done, things like the World Cup or UFC fights or this fight, to draw more attention to, hey, this big cool thing is being held here. This must be a cool country. That's essentially the gist of it, and that's what I felt like this was when it was announced, and it looks like that's also what Mitchell Hooper at least thought. So he says around 6 weeks, I already read that part. So he says at some point $30 million each, which is what they were promised to be paid initially, dropped to $3 million each. And long story short, they have no money. A deposit never came. An agreed goodwill payment never came. They are snake oil salesmen who dangled a huge carrot with no real ability on their end to fulfill promises. And this is not a reflection on any of the athletes involved. This is a company that has no idea what they're doing and wasted huge amounts of our time. I thought the most interesting part of all of this is the very ending here where he says, I spent 0 time training for this because I had a gut feeling they were useless and I'll be ready for the 2024 season. Then he tags Eddie, Brian, and Martin Ford. So for anybody wondering or anybody that was wanting to watch that fight, it's off. And this kind of answers the question of why we haven't really seen anybody else training for this except for Brian Shaw. And I'm glad to hear that Mitchell didn't waste any time training for this because I was worried that this could affect his Arnold Classic performance. And I just realized I misspoke a minute ago. February 17th would be just weeks before the Arnold Classic, not after. So that's what I was worried about with Mitchell, is if he got injured in some way and then he's going to go compete in the Arnold Strongman Classic in just a couple of weeks, it would seem like a huge liability. But if they were being offered $30 million, I can see why he would still accept the risk. But now it's off. We don't have to worry about it. And the timing was stupid with this guy, Mitchell Hooper, being really the favorite probably to win the Arnold Strongman Classic. To go do an MMA fight just weeks before, it seemed weird from the beginning, and now we have confirmation that that is not going to happen. Now, in more Arnold news, we did get 2 more updates from Samson today. Today would be exactly 3 weeks out from the Arnold Classic. So today we got a front lat spread and also a back shot that Samson posted. And we did get another update from Samson a couple days ago, and I wanted to point out it looks like he's wearing the exact same thing in that update. So these pictures could just be more pictures from 3 days ago. And 3 days ago we got the front double bicep, the side chest. Now today we're getting a back shot and a front lat spread. I wonder now if we're getting so close to the show that we might not see any more video updates from Samson, and maybe we're just going to get these little, glimpses here and there as we get closer to the show. And Samson looks tremendous in all of these updates. And I would say while I still think Hadi is the favorite to win here, I would say my mind is open to the possibility of it going either way. I think it's possible that Samson could pull it off. I think Hadi is the most likely to win based on paper placings, based on his track record with Samson in the past. But looking at Samson, my mind is definitely open to the possibility of him being able to pull this one off. That's really how good he looks. Really, really impressive stuff that we've been seeing from Samson during this prep. Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today, we got a brand new update from GOODVITO, and this would put him at now 8 weeks out from the 2024 Arnold Classic South America. Now, I don't know what he means in his caption. I have no idea what Landerlin means. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below, but the translation on Instagram didn't translate as anything. But anyway, I just can't wait for this guy's pro debut. He looks absolutely monstrous in this update. Him and a most muscular or a front double bicep are like 2 of his craziest poses. And even though he's 8 weeks out, if I'm being honest, I think he's in the realm of being better than most of the updates that we've seen from a lot of the guys that are already established pros doing the Arnold Classic in 3 weeks. I'd say Samson, Hadi, and Raphael have been more impressive. But just from an overall freak factor standpoint, size standpoint, he looks better than a lot of the guys that are doing the Arnold, with the exception of maybe Samson, Hadi, and Brandao. And when I say that, I obviously don't mean in terms of conditioning, just size and freak factor. I really think GOODVITO is the real deal, and his pro debut has got to be the one that I'm most excited for since, maybe Andrew Jacked or Nick Walker. The guy's a freak, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.